There's a reason the quietest resistance in your life didn't come from a stranger on the internet, it came from across a dinner table, through a shared wall, from the person who knows your schedule as well as you do. Capricorn, you didn't imagine the friction. You measured your hours, you honored your word, you stacked your plans like granite, and still something kept slipping. That wasn't chaos. That was proximity. Tonight, I'm not here to feed your fear. I'm here to sharpen your vision. Think of this as a field briefing from a senior Capricorn researcher who spent years mapping the subtle ways ambition gets slowed, not by loud enemies, but by small, daily nudges from the familiar. We're going to name those nudges without naming people. We're going to separate character from pattern, story from strategy. And then we're going to move. Here's what you'll feel as we go. First, recognition, the moment your intuition and your receipts finally shake hands. Then relief, because what felt personal becomes predictable once you see the pattern. And finally, momentum, career, money, and relationships picking up speed the instant you stop donating energy to the wrong circuits. If you've ever sensed that someone nearby prefers you tired rather than focused, distracted rather than decisive, this is your map. We'll trace how covert sabotage shows up in a Capricorn's life. Missed messages that somehow matter, micro delays that compound into real cost, accidental leaks of private plans that arrive in just the wrong ears. We'll answer with boundaries that don't start wars, a 7-day reset that drains the static, and a 90-day roadmap that puts your reputation back in compound growth territory. When I say karma is moving, I'm not talking about fireworks. I'm talking about the quiet law of consequence that finally has room to work once you clear the bottlenecks. You won't need a confrontation to prove you were right. Cause and effect will do it for you. Stay with me to the end, because I'm going to give you 3 sentences that end most covert interference without a fight, and a simple test you can run on any situation to know, in minutes, if it's draining you or building you. You've climbed too far to carry hidden weight a single step longer. Tonight, we set it down. This is Zodiac Secrets Revealed. And this is where a Capricorn's calm becomes their power. Shall I move into part 1, the pattern you felt but couldn't name? Part 1, the pattern you felt but couldn't name. There is a specific kind of exhaustion Capricorns recognize before anyone else does. It's not the honest fatigue that follows real work, it's the dull drain that follows interference. You tidy your calendar, you honor a promise to yourself, you sit down to move the mountain, and somehow you're pushed to spend 30 minutes looking for a file that was right where you left it yesterday. You plan a conversation at 3 p.m. and at 2:58, a quick question arrives that turns into a detour. These aren't accidents strung together by chance, they're the symptoms of a pattern that prefers you slightly off balance. Let me put skin on it. Years ago, I consulted with a Capricorn project manager, let's call her Maya. She tracked everything: timelines, dependencies, risk logs. Her precision wasn't control, it was care. And yet, for 3 quarters in a row, her initiatives slipped by a week here, 2 days there. The data refused to add up. When we pulled the thread, the same micro-event kept repeating. A colleague she liked, friendly, disarming, routinely borrowed her time in the final hour before deadlines. It sounded innocent. Can I get your eyes for 5 minutes? The 5 became 40, the 40 became a lost window, the lost window became a narrative. Maya's always almost on time. That's how a covert pattern works on a Capricorn. It never storms your castle, it jiggles hinges. It's a whisper campaign against your windows of focus. And because you pride yourself on resilience, you absorb the cost without complaint until resilience starts paying someone else's bill. Or take Jamal, a Capricorn contractor who shared a wall with a neighbor he barely knew. Every time he landed a high-value client call, music thumped through the drywall. Not enough to file a complaint, enough to rattle his concentration. He tried changing call times. The noise coincidentally followed. After 3 months, one client quietly chose a competitor, citing more polished delivery. Jamal wasn't unprepared, he was undermined by proximity that learned his rhythms and pressed at the seam. Notice what both stories share: the pattern is small, repeatable, and plausibly deniable. It creates just enough friction that results slip, but not so much friction that you feel justified calling it sabotage. And because you're a Capricorn, you ask the more generous question first: what did I miss? That humility is your strength until it becomes a loophole others exploit. Here's the diagnostic moment I teach. When you feel drained, ask, what did I actually do with my time? Capricorns keep better receipts than their critics. If your calendar says deck finalization, but your memory says soothing someone else's avoidable mess, name it. If your evening was for budgeting, but it became refereeing a family argument that could have been handled without you, name it. If your quiet morning ritual keeps being punctured by urgent texts from the same person who rarely respects your hours, name it. Patterns hate names. Names end the fog. Now, because we're honest here, the saboteur isn't always a person. Sometimes it's a story you were handed about being the reliable one, the fixer, the eldest backbone who absorbs everyone else's logistics. Capricorn maturity is learning the difference between leadership and leakage. Leadership builds a system that runs, leakage keeps sprinting so no one else has to learn to walk. If you recognize yourself in that mirror, good. That recognition is power, not blame. A Capricorn's sacred assets, reputation, rhythm, and reliability are exactly where covert interference lands its first blows. Reputation erodes with small, visible slips, rhythm frays with micro delays, reliability becomes a trap when it's accessible on demand. The saboteur, whether person or pattern, rarely pushes you to explode. It nudges you to over-explain. It wants you apologizing for delays it caused. And the more you apologize, the more the room begins to believe a story about you that isn't true. So how do you see it cleanly? Start with a 7-day observation, no crusade, no confrontation, just data. Each day, choose one intention that matters. Finish proposal, weekly budget, gym plus sleep by 11. Then watch what tries to get between you and that single intention. Notice who texts at the first sign of your focus and what they ask for. Notice which environment suddenly grows noisy, which task suddenly demands just 5 minutes, which topic at home always detonates when you sit down to do what matters. By day 4, patterns announce themselves. By day 7, you'll know the difference between a genuine emergency and a trained interruption. There's a second layer, more subtle but just as real, information timing. If you're Capricorn, you run on sequencing. You move the right piece at the right moment to keep the whole plan coherent. Hidden interference often arrives as late information, details you needed 2 days earlier that somehow surface only after their delay costs you options. When that keeps happening around the same person or setting, you're not forgetful, you're being fed crumbs on someone else's timeline. You don't need to accuse, you do need to change how and when you source your inputs. I'll give you a small, precise experiment that Maya used. She shifted her open door hour from the last hour before deadlines to the first hour after lunch 2 days a week and put all pre-deadline windows on heads down, no drop-ins. She didn't argue. She re-architected access. Within 1 quarter, her projects landed early, and the colleagues' 5-minute needs found a new home. Jamal solved his wall problem by booking client calls in a small rented conference room for 6 critical weeks while he shopped for a better lease. His close rate stabilized. Neither solution required a fight. Both required a name, a boundary, and a redesign. Here's the truth under all of this. A Capricorn's peace isn't soft, it's infrastructure. When you fortify it, outcomes improve in ways the outside world calls luck. That's what we mean tonight by karma is moving. Cause and effect need clear lanes. You're going to clear them. Before we move on, hold this life lesson in your hands. You are not obligated to donate your best hour to the loudest energy. Your best hour belongs to your future, not to whoever learned how to tap it. When you protect it, you don't become less kind, you become more accurate. In the next section, I'll give you the compass you've always had but didn't always trust, how a Capricorn's intuition actually works, why it's data not woo, and how to read it with the same rigor you bring to budgets and deadlines. Then we'll turn that compass toward the exact places saboteurs press in a Capricorn's life so you can shut the valves without starting a war. Life lesson. Your best hour belongs to your future. Treat intuition as data. If something repeatedly drains you, it's a cost center. Close the valve. Boundaries aren't conflict, they're the infrastructure that protects your peace and multiplies your results. Part 2, Capricorn's intuition equals executive radar. You don't guess, Capricorn, you assess. Your intuition isn't a crystal ball, it's an executive radar built from a lifetime of pattern recognition, timelines, and proof. When something feels off, it's usually because your inner dashboard is detecting a mismatch between what was promised and what consistently shows up. That quiet signal is not woo. It's data arriving through a faster channel. Think of your mind as a boardroom with two seats at the head, reason and instinct. Reason reviews documents, instinct notices the room temperature dropped when a certain name came up, or how your energy dips after a specific conversation. Instinct flags anomalies first. Reason investigates. When you ignore instinct, you waste quarters fixing what a 5-minute attention check could have prevented. Here's what Capricorn intuition sounds like in real life. You're driving to a meeting you've prepared perfectly, yet your chest hums with a low concern. Not panic, precision. You arrive and find the agenda slightly changed, placing you at a disadvantage. Your body forecasted the detour. Or your balancing accounts, and your eye keeps returning to a line item that doesn't matter. You dig, and there's the leak. The signal came before the spreadsheet. Because you value evidence, you sometimes dismiss that early nudge as noise. But intuition becomes reliable when you treat it like any KPI, define it, measure it, compare it. Ask yourself 3 quiet questions. What exactly did I feel? When did it start? What happened next? If the same sensation precedes the same kind of loss 3 times, you're not superstitious, you're observant. A Capricorn radar also reads people without demonizing them. You notice cadence, who replies on time when stakes are high, who goes vague right before delivery, who is warm only when you're useful. You notice how your body responds, a tightening before certain meetings, a mental fog after certain calls, a burst of clarity with others. Your soma is not dramatic, it is a disciplined instrument. If you exit an interaction more scattered than you entered, that is an expense. Name it as such. Consider Elena, a Capricorn nurse manager. Each month, overtime exploded on her unit, and every audit blamed unexpected surges. Her intuition kept circling the same benign scheduling swap. She mapped 6 weeks of swaps and discovered a pattern. One colleague consistently triggered coverage failures with emergencies timed before long weekends. Fact met feeling. Elena didn't accuse. She implemented a neutral rule: no last-minute swaps inside 48 hours without documented approval. Overtime normalized. That is intuition partnered with policy. Or Marcus, a Capricorn grad student writing his thesis in a shared apartment. He'd sit to write, and within minutes the kitchen erupted: music, chatter, pot lids. For months he tried to be tolerant. His body, though, reported a steady decline: shallow breaths, jaw tight, paragraphs stalling at the same mark. He finally rented a desk at the library for the exact blocks his roommates were most social. In 6 weeks he finished the chapter that had dragged for 6 months. He didn't need to fight, he needed to trust the instrument and relocate the work. The refinement move is small: convert sensations into tests. When I get that hum in my chest, I pause, reread the terms, and ask one clarifying question. When I feel fog after a call, I don't decide, I sleep once and check the numbers at 8 a.m. You aren't stalling. You're respecting your lag and lead indicators. Clarity is a return on patience. Intuition also protects your reputation. Your brand is timing and follow-through. When your radar warns that an agreement is structurally weak, too many verbal promises, unclear ownership, believe it. Put it in writing or step back. If that makes someone uncomfortable, notice who benefits from your ambiguity. Capricorn kindness is firm scaffolding, not soft ground. There's a spiritual layer, quiet and sturdy. When your inner compass says no, you are not rejecting people, you are accepting a path aligned with your integrity. The sea goat survives because it trusts both terrains, the deep water of feeling and the cold rock of fact. You don't need to perform mysticism to honor that blend. A breath, a note to self, a calendar block, that's all. A final calibration: intuition sharpens in stillness. Protect one undisturbed hour each morning or evening, the same wall of time, every day. No messages, no explanations. Review yesterday's signals and decide one concrete adjustment. Not 5. 1. Tiny course corrections, repeated, become fate. Life lesson: treat intuition like a metric. Observe, test, adjust. When your body says not this, it's protecting the results your mind is working to build. Part 3, where saboteurs target a Capricorn. If you want to find the leak in a Capricorn's life, don't look for explosions, look for slow drips right where your strengths live. Sabotage, when it's close to home, rarely attacks your talent. It goes after your reputation, rhythm, money, and home base, the 4 pillars you use to climb. 1. Reputation, the quiet rewrite. For Capricorns, reputation is currency. Hidden interference doesn't smear you outright, it nudges perception. A joke in a group chat about you being a bit intense, a quick update that leaves out your contribution, a casual "they're probably swamped" said to the person you were about to pitch, none of it looks hostile on paper. But perception compounds. Vinette, Ari, a Capricorn analyst, noticed his ideas kept resurfacing in meetings with someone else's name attached. No blatant theft, just pre-meeting syncs where he shared early drafts, then radio silence until the big room. Fix: Ari moved ideas into time-stamped memos and stopped sharing pre-reads one-on-one, he shared to the whole working group at once. Within 2 cycles, credit aligned with facts. No fight, just better architecture. Boundary move. Happy to collaborate, let's keep ideation in the shared doc so everyone can track authorship and updates. 2. Rhythm, micro delays that cost you real wins. A Capricorn's rhythm, the blocks of deep time that produce the results, is prime sabotage territory. The tactic: small, plausible interruptions at critical windows. A 5-minute favor at 2:55 before a 3 p.m. deliverable. A can we talk? Right when you sit to budget. A printer issue every Monday during your weekly planning hour. Vinette, Lena, a Capricorn operations lead, saw her project slip by inches, never miles. Her pattern audit showed that 80% of day tours hit in her final prep hour. She instituted a no-drop-in, heads-down rule for the last 60 minutes before delivery and offered office hours 2 afternoons a week. The interruptions didn't disappear, they moved to office hours. Her on-time rate snapped back. Rhythm restored, narrative corrected. Boundary move. I'm in a focus block until 45. Send what you have and I'll review during office hours. 3. Money, the slow bleed. Covert interference loves the places where dollar leaks quietly, late invoice info, accidental wrong addresses, last-minute scope changes agreed to verbally, shared bills that somehow get fuzzy. The aim is to keep you explaining rather than compounding. Vinette, Darius, a Capricorn contractor, kept eating just as small change costs. He tightened to a change order rule, no extra work without a signed CO, and payment milestones auto-triggered via invoicing software. He also moved all pay-by-check clients to ACH with net terms enforced. Complaints spiked for 2 weeks, then vanished. The only people upset were those benefiting from the fuzziness. Boundary move. Happy to adjust scope, send the change order and we'll schedule once it's signed. 4. Home base, where your focus lives. Home is where a Capricorn recharges and plans. Hidden sabotage here shows up as noise timed to your key hours, chronic emergencies, or clutter creep that keeps your mind tracking mess instead of goals. It might be a roommate who hosts quick hangouts exactly during your study block, or a neighbor whose leaf blower becomes mysteriously active during your Zooms. Vinette, Sophia, a Capricorn grad student, tracked a consistent environmental spike. Sound plus interruptions from 6 to 8 p.m., her only study window. She tested 2 moves. 1. A library desk booked those 2 hours. 2. A quiet hours reminder posted on her door with friendly cookies once a week, HOA compliant. Her GPA rose, her relationships stayed civil. She didn't make home a battlefield, she relocated performance and designed peace. Boundary move. I'm unavailable 6 to 8 p.m. daily. If it's not urgent, I'll circle back after 8. Tools that expose patterns fast. The FOG test: frequency, origin, gain. Frequency: how often does this happen, and when? Origin: who or what reliably precedes it. Person, environment, process. Gain: who benefits from the delay or confusion. Be honest. If the same triad repeats 3 times, you're not unlucky, you're mapped. Adjust the system, not the person. The 3S rule for agreements: specific, scheduled, signed. If a task isn't specific, scheduled, and signed, documented, assume it will cost you more time and money than it seems. Bring it into clarity or step back. Calendar firewall. Protect one keystone hour daily, same time, every day. Protect the last 60 minutes before any delivery. Route all non-urgent requests to 2 weekly office hours. Language that closes the valve: firm, not hostile. Use neutral process language, it starves drama and feeds order. Let's keep all edits in the shared doc so nothing falls through. I'll revisit this during office hours. Please send any context by noon. Once the change order is signed, I'll schedule the work. For clarity, let's capture decisions in email before we proceed. You'll notice something: people acting in good faith adapt quickly. People who were riding your boundaries don't. Life lesson. Protect the 4 pillars: reputation, rhythm, money, home, and the mountain moves. When a pattern repeatedly erodes one pillar, fix the process, not the person. Neutral rules are how a Capricorn keeps peace and power at the same time. Ready for part 4, Boundaries Without War? I'll give you the exact scripts and a mini playbook for work, family, and neighbor scenarios: calm, legal safe, and effective. Part 4, Boundaries Without War. Capricorn, boundaries aren't armor, they're architecture. You don't need volume, threats, or a speech. You need clear rules, consistent timing, and a paper trail. The goal isn't to win a moment, it's to stabilize a system so your reputation, rhythm, money, and home run without leaks. Think of each boundary like a well-placed beam: silent, load-bearing, and non-negotiable once installed. You'll notice a pattern in everything below: short sentences, neutral tone, process language, next step in writing. That's how a Capricorn removes heat from a situation while keeping all the leverage. The boundary ladder: calm escalation. 1. Clarify what you're protecting: time, deliverable, budget, quiet. 2. Offer a lane that works: office hours, shared doc, scheduled call. 3. Make it a rule: I'm unavailable 2 to 4 daily, use the form. 4. Document: email recap, shared board, change order. 5. Consequence: non-punitive, automatic, requests outside scope equals next sprint. 6. Exit relocate if needed, new workspace, different channel, reduced access. No drama, just gravity. Work scenarios, scripts you can read verbatim. Last minute drop-ins before a deadline. I'm in a focus block until 45. Send it over. I'll review during office hours. Follow with an email recap, per chat. I'll review tomorrow 1 to 2 p.m. during office hours. Idea credit drift. Let's move ideation to the shared doc so authorship and changes are visible. After the meeting, recap: sections 2 to 3 originated in my 6/12 memo. I'll own next revisions. Scope creep: just a small change. Happy to adjust, please send a change order. I'll schedule once it's signed. If pushed, without a CO, it stays in the next sprint by default. Vague ownership. To land this cleanly, who is DRI? If it's me, I'll write the plan and timeline. If not, I'll contribute on request. DRI equals directly responsible individual. US teams know the term. It anchors accountability. Family scenarios: keep love, add structure. Constant calls during your keystone hour. I'm offline 6 to 7 a.m. daily. If it's urgent, call, otherwise I'll reply after 7. If repeated, I'm keeping that hour protected. Text me and I'll respond after 7. Last minute favors that break your schedule. I can help Saturday 10 to 11, not today. If you need today, you'll want to ask X. If guilt appears, I want to help well, not rushed. Saturday 10 to 11 is solid. Money requests. I have a monthly giving budget. I can do $___ by the 15th. Anything beyond needs a plan. If pressured, I'm staying within my budget. It keeps everyone safe long term. Neighbor home scenarios: civil, HOA lease safe. Noise during calls, timed to your schedule. I've got recurring calls 5 to 6 p.m. Could we keep that hour low noise? I'll do the same for you. What hour do you want quiet? If no change, Route through process, I'll log call times with management so we can find a building-wide fix. Parking shared space friction. Let's align with the posted rules. If we need exceptions, we'll get written approval so it's clear for everyone. Household emergencies in your focus block. I'm unavailable 7 to 8 p.m. daily. If it's water, electric, medical, interrupt, otherwise leave a note and I'll handle at 8. Templates that do the heavy lifting. 1-minute recap email. Subject, recap and next steps, Project X. Confirming today's decisions. A. I'll deliver Y by Friday 3 p.m. B. Changes beyond the agreed scope will be scheduled via change order. C. Office hours Tuesday and Thursday 1 to 2 p.m. for reviews. Reply if anything differs. Change order microform, copy-paste. Requested change. Why now impact? New timeline. Cost trade-off. Approver, name date sign. No signature equals next sprint. Shared expenses ledger line. Date item who committed amount due date status proof link. Behavioral tools that keep peace. 3-sentence rule, ask, boundary, next step. No essays. I'm in a focus block. Send it by noon. I'll reply after 3. Grey rock plus redirect, neutral tone, repeat the process once, then exit the loop. 2 yes filter for favors, it's only a yes if your calendar and energy both say yes. Keystone hour inviolable, same hour every day. No exceptions, no explanations. Documentation is kindness, memory is subjective, receipts are merciful. You'll see a clean divide as you apply this. People in good faith adapt quickly, people attached to your unavailability as a resource escalate briefly, then either conform to the system or drift away. Both outcomes protect your climb. Life lesson. Boundaries aren't conflict, they're quiet agreements with yourself, enforced by process. Say less, write more, repeat calmly. Consistency does what confrontation can't. Part 5, the 7-day release and reset, practical, secular. This is a 1-week systems reset engineered for a Capricorn mind, measurable, calm, and drama-free. No naming or shaming, just architecture that gives cause and effect room to work in your favor. Day 1, map the friction, not the feelings. Pick one promise that actually matters today, finish the draft, budget, gym plus sleep by 11. Anytime something diverts you, write a 3-line entry. What happened, when it hit, how many minutes it cost. At night, total the minutes and circle the 2 loudest leaks. You're not judging people, you're establishing a baseline. Intuition becomes strategy the moment it's on paper. Day 2, install the Keystone Hour. Choose the same 60 minutes every day. Wall it off like a standing meeting with your future. Announce once, I'm offline 7 to 8 a.m. daily, I'll respond after 8. Put your most strategic task there: proposal, study, prospecting. If someone pushes, repeat the line once and move on. Consistency teaches the room faster than explanations. Day 3, move talk into receipts. Ambiguity is where sabotage hides. Put work in a shared document with timestamps. Capture decisions in a simple decision log. Date, owner, what was agreed, due date. 4 changes, use a 1-paragraph note, requested change, impact, new date cost, approver. Send a short recap, confirming a by Friday 3 p.m., changes roll via change note. You're not being difficult, you're protecting everyone from memory. Day 4, re-engineer the habitat. Your focus deserves a proper environment. Clear the desk you actually use. Add a door sweep or white noise app. If home is noisy at your best hour, relocate performance. Public library study room, a low-cost co-working day pass, or a quiet conference room you can book. In apartments or HOAs, post a friendly card. Recurring calls 5 to 6 p.m. Happy to coordinate a quiet swap. What do you need? Civility plus options beats confrontation. Day 5, seal the money leaks. Review the last 60 days. Where did time turn into unpaid work or late fees? Standardize, written estimates, deposits before start, no extra work without a signed change note, invoices sent on the same weekday, and as many payments as possible via ACH with clear terms. For shared expenses at home, keep a simple ledger, date item who committed amount due date status proof link. People in good faith adapt quickly, fuzziness serves everyone else. Day 6, practice the language of boundaries. Scripts keep you calm when pressure rises. Rehearse until your voice stays even. I'm in a focus block, send it by noon and I'll review after 3. Happy to adjust, email the change note, I'll schedule once it's approved. I'm offline 6 to 7 p.m. daily, if it's urgent, call. Otherwise I'll handle after 7. To land this cleanly, put the request in the shared doc so nothing drops. Use the 2-sentence loop, state the boundary, state the next step, then stop. Each repeat is identical. Consistency drains the heat. Day 7, review, decide, cut cleanly. Return to day 1 notes. Which pattern survived your new rules? That's your decisive cut. Options: reduce access, no same-day requests, relocate the task, quiet room for calls, change the channel, feedback happens Tuesday and Thursday 1 to 2 p.m. only, or add an automatic consequence, requests after cutoff move to next sprint. Keep it neutral and written. If it's a building or workplace issue, escalate through the process, lease terms, HOA policy, HR ticket, rather than a personal argument. The moment the system changes, karma, cause and effect, can finally do its quiet work. What this week feels like. Day the 2nd of May feel awkward, good, that means a new groove is forming. Day 3 to 4 bring relief, your brain stops chasing loose ends. Day 5 recovers real dollars or hours. Day 6 to 7 reveal who respects order and who only thrived in fuzziness. Either way, your climb gets lighter. Micro upgrades that compound. Block the final 60 minutes before any delivery as no interruptions. Pre-book 2 office hour windows each week, route non-urgent tasks there. When your body gives the something's off hum, add 1 clarifying question or 1 sleep cycle before deciding. Keep a 1-page playbook, scripts, decision log link, change note template, pinned where you work. Life lesson. Release isn't revenge, it's redesign. When you change access and put everything in writing, peace becomes infrastructure and results start arriving on schedule. Part 6, justice moves when you move. Karma is moving isn't thunder in the sky, it's the quiet math of cause and effect finally getting a clear lane. When a Capricorn changes small systems, access, documentation, timing, 3 things happen at once. Pressure stops leaking out of your best hour, patterns become visible to everyone, not just you, and people behaving in bad faith lose the fog they need to operate. Justice isn't dramatic, it's cumulative. Start with the simplest translation. Justice equals consequences that now have room to land. You don't make them land, you remove what blocked them. That's why your 7-day reset mattered. It didn't punish anyone. It restored the chain between action and outcome. There are 4 channels where justice shows up fast for Capricorns. Procedural justice is policy doing its job. When you move agreements from talk to track, shared docs, decision logs, change notes, your world stops relying on memory. The coworker who used to forget your contribution runs into timestamps. The client who loved last-minute tweaks meets a change order. The neighbor who swore noise was just once meets a log that shows 12 Tuesdays in a row. You didn't accuse. You recorded. The system speaks for you. Reputational justice is the market correcting a story. Your reputation is a balance sheet of receipts. When you publish the plan early, deliver on time, and recap decisions after each meeting, the room learns to trust your version first because it's the one with evidence. Hidden interference thrives in ambiguity. Your clarity removes its oxygen. In 2 or 3 cycles, credit starts attaching to the right people, the ones doing the work, including you. Economic justice is money flowing where diligence lives. The moment you standardize deposits, enforce terms, and stop doing unpaid extras, 2 things shift. Low-respect clients fall away, and serious clients lean in. Your calendar grows fewer but richer. You didn't get lucky. You stopped subsidizing chaos. Cause and effect did the rest. Natural justice is what your body does when you sleep, eat, and protect the keystone hour. Capricorns under sabotage run on adrenaline, Capricorns with boundaries run on cadence. After a week of rhythm, your mind returns to deep work, your tone steadies, and decisions improve. People experience you as clearer and calmer, which pulls better opportunities toward you and repels the drama that used to find you. How does this look in real life? Picture 3 quiet pivots. A project room keeps losing track of who owns what. You install a DRI line at the top of every doc and end each meeting with, owner, next step, date. The person who lives on plausible deniability suddenly has nowhere to stand. Deadlines land. Promotion talk begins not because you politicked, but because your system stopped bleeding. A shared wall keeps sabotaging your calls. You log dates and times, route through management, and book a library room for your keystone hour while the building addresses it. Your close rate stabilizes. The neighbor doesn't need to be your enemy, they just can't be your scheduler anymore. You didn't escalate a fight, you escalated a process. A relative tests your availability every evening. You repeat the same 2 sentences for 2 weeks, I'm offline 6 to 7, I'll return messages after 7, and you stick to it. The pattern either adapts or it ends. Either outcome is justice, your evenings become yours, and the relationship becomes honest about what you can actually give. Notice the theme, you move first, but not toward conflict, toward structure. That move invites the world to reveal itself. People in good faith feel relieved. People who needed your fuzziness raise the volume briefly, then meet the wall of your consistency and quiet down or walk away. Your job is to keep the wall steady. If you want something to measure, build a justice scorecard for the next 30 days. On-time deliveries, target plus 15 to 25%. Interruptions inside your keystone hour, target minus 80%. Unpaid extras, target minus 100%. Credit alignment, ideas attributed correctly, target upward trend. Sleep and recovery, target plus 60 minutes across the week. Review it every Friday. Numbers will move because systems moved. There will be moments when old guilt taps your shoulder. Am I being rigid? The answer is simple. Structure is not punishment. Structure is kindness with a memory. It protects you from burnout and protects others from guessing. In that light, karma stops sounding mystical and starts feeling like gravity, reliable, predictable, uninterested in drama, always working when you stop holding everything up with your bare hands. If a line must be drawn thicker, HR, HOA, contractor terms, draw it in writing, cite the policy, and let the mechanism carry the message. A Capricorn's strength is restraint paired with receipts. You don't argue, you align. You don't threaten, you calendar. You don't expose people, you expose patterns, and patterns expose themselves. The beauty of this season is subtle. The same mountain you were pushing finally begins to roll under its own weight. Emails come back faster. Meetings shorten. Payments clear on time. The room that once misread you starts saying, they're solid. Nothing magical happened. You just built a lane where consequences could travel. That's justice moving. Life lesson. Justice isn't a showdown, it's alignment. When your rules are clear and your receipts are real, cause and effect finds you and your results arrive on schedule. Part 7, Rebuild, Career and Finance, 90-Day Roadmap. You've cleared the static. Now we convert quiet into traction. A Capricorn rebuild isn't fireworks, it's cadence, choices repeated until the market has no option but to reward you. Think of the next 90 days as 3 clean phases: stabilize, advance, compound. Each phase has one North Star, a few non-negotiables, and metrics you can track the way only a Capricorn can. Phase 1, days 1 to 30, stabilize the platform. North Star, reliability visible to others. Your brand becomes on time, on paper, no leaks. Publish the plan. In one page, state what you will deliver in the next 30 days and when. Share it with the 2 people who can most change your trajectory, manager and cross-functional lead, or top 2 clients. Visibility is leverage. Time firewall. Keep the keystone hour and the last 60 minutes pre-delivery completely interruption-free. Announce office hours twice a week and funnel all reviews there. Rhythm precedes recognition. Money hygiene. Move every agreement into specific, scheduled, signed. Estimate in writing, deposits before start, change notes for scope creep. Turn on ACH or card with clear net terms. End unpaid extras. Reputation anchor. Choose one artifact each week that proves value, a memo, dashboard, or demo. Publish it to the whole working group, not just one person. Timestamps protect you. Metrics to hit by day 30. On-time deliveries up 20 to 30%. Interruptions inside Keystone are down 80%. Unpaid extras at 0. 1 published artifact per week. Cash buffer, set the first brick, 1 to 2 weeks expenses parked in a separate account. Microstory, Tasha, a Capricorn designer, sent a Monday one-pager. This week's outputs, owners, dates. She posted Friday artifacts to a shared folder and stopped 1:1 pre-reads. By week 4, her manager used her folder in leadership syncs. Her work didn't change, its visibility did. Phase 2, days 31 to 60 advance the position. North Star, upward motion that's undeniable on paper. The 30% lift. Identify the one initiative that, if improved by 30%, would change your quarter, cycle time, win rate, revenue per client, or stakeholder satisfaction. Build a 3-lever plan to get that lift and measure it weekly. The ask. Schedule a 20-minute meeting with your manager or flagship client. Script. My outputs have stabilized and we've improved X by Y. Here's a 60-day plan to expand impact. What's the highest value problem you want solved next, and what decision or budget would make that happen? Capricorns earn before they negotiate, then they negotiate with receipts. Pipeline hygiene. Replace 3 low ROI obligations with 3 high probability opportunities. For employees, volunteer for 1 visible cross-team project that lands within 30 days. For independents, book 3 quality discovery calls per week and quote with minimums that reflect your new boundaries. Money moat. Automate 2 transfers, emergency buffer and work tools fund, training, software, quiet workspace. Your future should never depend on a single budget conversation. Metrics to hit by day 60. Your 30% target is halfway there. 1 concrete endorsement captured, email, performance note, public kudos. Pipeline, 3 strong opportunities scheduled, 1 already converted. Buffer at 3 weeks expenses, no debt from business leakage. Negotiation language, calm, specific. Raise scope, here's the value delivered and the lift underway. To sustain this pace, I'm proposing a compensation adjustment of X or moving Y into a funded scope with Z milestones. Rate, this package is priced at X. That includes A, B, and 2 rounds of C with delivery by D. Changes beyond that follow the change note. Phase 3, days 61 to 90 compound the advantage. North Star, make your improvements self-reinforcing. 1 systemize the win. Any result you had to push manually, turn it into a template, checklist, or automation. If success needs you every second, it isn't a Capricorn system yet. 2 reputation flywheel. Present a 10-minute what changed update to the broader team or top clients. The problem, the system you installed, the results, the next experiment. You're not boasting, you're teaching. Teaching cements authority. 3 moat the money. Add a second income stabilizer, recurring retainer, maintenance plan, microsubscription, or a quarterly bonus tied to a metric you now control. Capricorns sleep when money has rhythm. 4 replace yourself in the low leverage tasks. Delegate, batch, or drop what doesn't move your 90-day metrics. Your calendar should look like a ladder, fewer rungs, bigger steps. Metrics to hit by day 90. Your 30% lift achieved or exceeded, documented as a before-after. 2 artifacts adopted by others, dashboard, SOP, template. Compensation adjusted or scope elevated. Independent pipeline includes at least 1 recurring client. Buffer at 1 to 2 months expenses. 1 automatic wealth habit, retirement or debt payoff, turned on. 2 US realistic scenarios. Internal role, you lead a cross-team fix that cuts a cycle by 28%. You publish the SOP, get it adopted, and request a scope elevation with a tied bonus. HR hears your manager say we're using their doc now, which lands better than any self-praise. Independent, you convert ad hoc jobs into a retainer with clear deliverables and change notes. Your average invoice rises, your collection time shortens, and your afternoons stop dissolving into quick favors. Revenue steadies because rules did. Weekly cadence, simple, relentless. Monday 20 minutes, plan outputs, block keystone hour, schedule artifact. Midweek 10 minutes, pipeline touch, 1 ask, 1 follow-up, 1 thank you. Friday 15 minutes, scorecard on time percent, pipeline health, unpaid extras, should be 0, buffer growth, sleep hours. Adjust one thing. Remember the truth we've been proving, karma isn't a mood, it's the math of your systems. You removed the fog, so cause and effect could finally find you. Stay boringly consistent, and the market will call it momentum. Life lesson. Make reliability visible, then negotiate from receipts. Money follows rhythm, reputation follows proof. Build both, and the next 90 days stop being a hope, they become a ledger. Part 8, Love and the Inner Circle, choosing bonds that help you climb. When the static clears, love stops feeling like a test and starts feeling like a home base. For Capricorn, the right relationship is not noise in your schedule, it's shelter for your focus, a place where the world's demands quiet down and your spine lengthens. That kind of bond is built, not found, and the materials are the same we've used all along: timing, honesty, boundaries, receipts. Romance isn't an exception to your standards, it's where your standards matter most. Start here. Affection without reliability is weather. It might be dramatic, even beautiful, but it cannot anchor you. Reliability without affection is concrete. It holds, but you won't grow inside it. You need both. So we calibrate. Picture this as a 3-gate path: attention, access, alliance. Attention is curiosity with no promises attached. You're listening for cadence. Do they keep small agreements, follow up when they say they will, respect quiet hours without you explaining twice? Early love is data collection. Keep the sample size small but honest. The first no you give, "I'm offline 7 to 8 every evening," tells you more than any speech. People who are a match hear the boundary as information, not a challenge. Access is time. This is where many Capricorns overgive and then resent. Instead, move at the speed of trust. Try the 3-context rhythm for 6 weeks. 1 coffee in your world, 1 walk in neutral space, 1 event in theirs. You're testing how they behave where goals, friends, or family are in view. If someone subtly competes with your focus or dislikes the people who believe in you, the mismatch will surface here without a fight. Alliance is shared architecture. If the bond is real, the conversation shifts from "when can I see you?" to "how do we design our week so both of us thrive?" That's when you propose anchors, a standing date that protects romance from the calendar storm, a mutual no-phones hour, a Sunday logistics check that keeps money, chores, and rest humane. The right person relaxes when things are defined. The wrong person calls that controlling because your clarity removes their wiggle room. 2 vignettes to ground this. Elise, a Capricorn in tech, kept attracting dazzling improvisers, fun, bright, late. After our reset, she ran the 3-context rhythm with Jonah, a quiet teacher. He didn't flood her with messages, he showed up exactly when he said he would. When she set no calls 6 to 7, he replied, "Cool, I'll text dinner ideas after 7. On week 5, he asked how to make her Wednesday sprint easier. Elise didn't feel fireworks, she felt exhale. That's Capricorn chemistry, steady presence that amplifies your week. 6 months later, their Sunday 30-minute logistics block saved them hours of friction. Romance deepened because logistics softened. Dion, a Capricorn dad, loved big and worked bigger. His partner, Lena, often sparked arguments at 9 p.m., the only hour he had to decompress. He assumed it was love's price. After the 7-day reset, he changed the inputs: "I'm offline 9 to 10 to reset. Can we move heavy talks to Saturday morning with coffee?" The first 2 weeks were choppy. By week 3, Lena appreciated that she finally had his full attention in a calmer window. Their tension wasn't purely emotional, it was architectural. When the frame changed, the feelings had room to breathe. Let's name the patterns that rot a Capricorn's inner circle and the ones that fortify it. Rotting patterns look subtle: jokes that minimize your ambition, accidental lateness to your big moments, pressure to be infinitely available, curiosity that only points at your usefulness, not your personhood. If you feel smaller after time together, less decisive, more apologetic, treat that as a measurable outcome, not a mood. Shrinking is a metric. Fortifying patterns are simple: punctuality, calm curiosity, conflict that seeks repair instead of victory, shared silence that recharges instead of empties you. If you leave an evening with more clarity than you came with, you've found fuel. What about friendships and family? Apply the same architecture. Not every bond has to be deep to be good. Some ties offer laughter, some for advice, some for memory. What hurts Capricorns is mislabeling. Don't ask casual friends for sacred counsel. Don't give sacred time to casual chaos. Update your inner circle map twice a year. Who is core, who is close, who is kind but occasional. That map isn't cold, it's honest. It protects intimacy from dilution. If you're single, build a cap table for attention the way you'd build one for a venture. Limited slots for the most meaningful investments. If you're partnered, schedule the scaffolding, a weekly date, a quarterly day away, a small ritual that belongs only to you two. Love needs fences to keep the garden from becoming a parking lot. Fences are not walls, they're lines that say, what's inside is tended. Scripts help when love meets logistics. I want to give you my best attention, not leftovers. Can we talk Saturday morning so I'm present? My work sprint runs 5 to 7. I'll be fully yours after. If you need me during that window, send one text and I'll triage. I love that you care about my goals. Here's how to support them this month. Keep Wednesday free, nudge me to shut the laptop by 10, and I'll plan Friday night. When conflict comes, and it will, Capricorn power is the rupture and repair cycle, not endless debate. Name the moment, name your need, propose a small change. When plans shift last minute, I feel unmoored. Can we set a 24-hour rule unless it's truly urgent? Then watch. People aligned with you will adjust. People attached to your old overfunctioning will escalate. Believe the result. For those leaving a painful bond, grieve without rewriting your worth. The fact that someone mishandled your reliability doesn't make reliability a flaw. It means your gift needs a safer frame. The universe doesn't punish Capricorns for being steady, it promotes them once the steady is used in service of their own life first. Finally, remember that love is not a distraction from your climb. It's a second summit, the one where you learn to stand with someone without abandoning yourself. The view from there is different, less lonely, more generous, oddly quieter. The right inner circle won't ask you to stop being disciplined, they'll protect your discipline because it feeds both of you. Life lesson. Choose on cadence, not chemistry. Affection plus reliability builds a home, anything else is weather. When you align love with your architecture, intimacy stops costing your future and starts compounding it. Conclusion: when the architecture changes, karma moves. Capricorn, take one slow breath. You didn't chase drama, you redesigned your life. You named the pattern instead of the person. You treated intuition like data. You installed boundaries that speak in calm sentences and show up in writing. And the moment you did, cause and effect finally had a clear lane to find you. You've seen the arc, the subtle drain you could never quite name, the executive radar inside you that notices before the spreadsheet does, the 4 pillars saboteurs love to nick: reputation, rhythm, money, home, the boundary scripts that end most interference without a fight, the 7-day reset that turns fog into facts, the quiet justice that arrives when you stop subsidizing chaos, the 90-day rebuild that makes reliability visible and profits from proof, and the kind of love that doesn't. Take from your future to feel alive today. If you remember nothing else, remember this: your peace is infrastructure. When you protect your keystone hour, move talk into receipts, and let small rules repeat, you don't become rigid, you become precise. Precision is how Capricorns love, work, and heal. Here are the 3 lines I want living on your tongue, the ones that end most covert interference without a war. I'm in a focus block, send it by noon and I'll review after 3. Happy to adjust, email the change note, I'll schedule once it's approved. I'm offline 6 to 7 daily, if it's urgent, call, otherwise I'll handle it after. And here's the simplest test to steer by for the rest of the year. After any interaction, ask, Did this protect my next step or tax it? If it protected it, double down. If it taxed it, close the valve by process, not by anger. Your life lesson today is the same one the mountain teaches. Height is earned by rhythm, not rush. Keep your cadence. Let justice do the math. The right people will feel relieved by your clarity, the wrong ones will reveal themselves quickly and quietly. Either way, you get your time, your name, and your sleep back. If this spoke to you, tell me one pattern you're changing, not names, just the behavior you're retiring. Your comment may be the map another Capricorn needs tonight. And if you want more deep, practical guidance crafted for Capricorn minds, subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed and turn on notifications. We'll keep building your architecture, career, money, love, and the quiet power that makes all three last.